ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Yes, next. वेषं न विश्वसेत् प्राज्ञो वेषो दोषाय जायते रावणो भिक्षुरूपेण जहार जनकात्मजाम्। प्राज्ञः वेषं न विश्वसेत् वेषः दोषाय जायते रावणः भिक्षुरूपेण जनकात्मजाम् जहार। I think it's a very easy subhashita. One should not trust on the dress of a person. It can lead to misunderstanding. Vesho doshaya jayate. And the illustration in the next line is that of Ravana. Ravana cheated Sita by assuming the form of a bhikshu, beggar, a mendicant. I must apologize for a couple of mistakes in the glossary. Vishwaset is derived from root shvas, preceded by the upasarga vi. Here sa is missing, so it should be vishwas, and that we need to correct actually. Vishwaset is derived from the root shvasa, which is preceded by the prefix vi. Janaka Atmaja together makes Janakatmaja, the daughter of Janaka. Well, there is nothing much to be talked about grammar. It's a very popular subhashita. Next. Durjana priyavaditi naitad vishvasakaranam madhutishtati jihvagre hrudaye tu halahalam. This is again another very well-known verse. Durjanaha priyavadi iti etat na vishvasakaranam madhu jihvagre tishtati hrudaye tu halahalam tishtati. So this is about a bad person who always speaks very good, amicable, pleasant, but one should not trust him. Only because he speaks good, you should not trust him. Why? Because only on the tip of his tongue there is honey, but in the heart there is poison. Priyam vadati iti priyavadin. It's a compound. Vishwasasya karanam, vishwasa karanam. Another compound. Jihvayaha agram, jihvagram. Also a compound. And the sandhis are shown in the glossary. If there are no questions, shall we go to the next? Pakshinam balam akashe matsyanam udakam balam durbalasya balam raja balanam rodanam balam. So everyone has his strength point. The strength of birds is tested in the sky. Sky is the limit, they say, for for birds. Pakshinam akashe balam. Matsyanam udakam balam. Water is the strength of the fish. Durbalasya raja balam. For every weak person, it is the administrator, the king, who is his strength. So whatever grievances he has to finally take resort to the king. And balanam rodanam balam. This is a very well-known line, and I don't need to explain. It's everybody's experience. In the glossary, there is a word Raja. The base form should be Rajan. This is a nominative singular form, Raja. Yes. And again, there is nothing much to say. We can go to the next if there is no question.
Oh, there was one comment or question by Pradeep. He says that transliteration of this verse needs to be corrected.
Okay.
So, I don't know if you can suggest, or we can correct it and send it in the newsletter or something. Do you see any error there? Pakshinam balam akash?
Yes, but I thought that it is because of the fonts, perhaps. I don't know which fonts are being used here, but certainly Pakshinam is not really. They have used different codes here, so I mean I just cannot comment on the transliteration, because I don't see transliteration in a proper way at all, and I never read the transliteration. So which fonts are being used here, I have no idea. But if Pradeep can point out where exactly is the problem, we can certainly discuss it and sort it out.
Oh, he says that I don't think it is the font that is causing it. If you use Transliterator 2003, it will be automatically fix it. Maybe we consider this next time, Pradeep. So let's move to the next one. Translator 2003, I am noting down.
Okay. Yastu sancharate deshan sevate yastu panditan tasya vistarita buddhis taila bindurivambhasi. Yastu deshan sancharate yastu panditan sevate tasya buddhihi vistarita ambhasi taila binduhu iva. So this verse talks about Desha Sanchara. One should always visit other places, get exposure, and also try to come in contact with learned people. Yaha Deshan Sancharate. Visits different places. Panditan Sevate. Meets intelligent people, scholars. Tasya buddhihi vistarita bhavati. So his intellect gets expanded. Just as a drop of oil gets expanded on the surface of water. So right from ancient days, exposure, visit to other countries was encouraged. But as you know, in pre-independence India, going abroad was strictly prohibited by Dharma Shastra. And you might have heard many great political leaders, freedom fighters, those who went abroad, after return they had to take a kind of prayaschittam. So Desha Sanchar is restricted to one's own country in this. So going abroad, crossing the boundaries of the country was not really allowed by Dharma Shastra. But at the same time, going from place to place, participating in the debates and proving one's scholarship was always encouraged. In this verse, tu is an indeclinable. Yes, tu actually is a sandhi between yaha and tu. It is an expletive. It means nothing. It is just a filler. You can say it is metra causa. There is another verse, maybe if we have a chance to read further. In that verse, exactly opposite analogy is given, and that is Ghruta Binduhu Iva Ambasi. So one who does not meet people, one who does not enjoy the company of scholars, his intelligence is like a drop of ghee on the surface of water. As ghee coagulates, it never spreads, it never expands. So there are two verses which speak to different things, contradictory things. Ambhas is a word ending in sa, which means water. If there is no question, we can go to the next.
Yeah, next please.
Yeah. Dadhi maduram madhu maduram draksha madura sudhapi madhuraiva tasya tadeva hi maduram yasya mano yatra samlagnam. Very simple definition of beauty, sweetness. Dadhi maduram, madhu maduram, draksha madura, sudhapi madhuraiva. So all these, food items we have already tested. Dadhi, madhu, draksha, sudha, they are all very, very sweet. Maybe for some people, some others they are not. Yasya manaha yatra samulagnam tasya tadevahi madhuram. So that alone is sweet for him whose mind is attached in that. So dadhi may not be sweet for
Oh, you are cutting. Dr. Bhate, your voice was getting cut or chopped off. Please go ahead.
Arvind, I don't know if we've lost her.
I think we lost her. I feel we have lost her. Let's wait for a minute.
Okay.
Maybe she may not have moved the mouse or something. So that might have put it into a frozen mode. Her PC.
So something is wrong?
Yeah.
We can hear you now. We were not able to hear you.
Okay. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry.
Okay. So
Maybe we go back to the previous Subhashita. That Dadhi Maduram.
I have no problem. Yes.
If you had finished that, then we can go to the next one. I mean.
I have finished, of course. But if there are any questions, I would like to
Oh,
respond.
no questions. Then Subhashita 61
because
is
that
fine.
was really very easy. That was
Yeah.
really very easy. Yeah.
No, we thought when
So-
we lost you, whether you had finished talking or.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I
They-
also don't know why the connection was okay.
Yeah,
So we go to the next, okay?
1 minute. Somebody has raised a hand. Shall I unmute him?
Yeah.
Vidyut Joshi.
Okay.
Vidyut Joshi,
Yeah,
can you? Yeah. Okay.
I was not able to hear the Subhashit number 60. So I was thinking of, like, in case if Dr. Bhate can repeat it.
Okay. Shall we? Will you show me the? Okay. Dadhi maduram madhu maduram draksha madura sudhapi maduraiva tasya tadeva hi maduram yasya mano yatra samulagnam. Should I also explain the meaning? Arvind?
Yeah, that will be fine because
Okay.
he did not
Okay.
see for us.
Okay. So, dadhi is curds, it is sweet, honey is sweet, grapes are sweet, and also nectar is sweet. But actually, that is sweet for him who has developed a taste for it. Yasya manaha yatra samulagnam. So, it actually changes from person to person. If your mind is actually attached to a particular object, then you like it. And here sweet, the word sweet or the word madhura in this verse should not be understood only in the sense of sweet. You can say tasty. In a very broad sense we use the term sweet. How sweet, we say. So in that sense, even something which is hot, like hot dog maybe, so which contains lot of chili, also is very tasty. So it depends upon one's own taste. This is actually what is taught in this Subhashita. Okay, is it clear? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. We can go to the next one right now.
Okay. Lakshmir vasadi jihvagre mitra bandhavaah jihvagre bandhanam praptam jihvagre maranam dhruvam. So how important is what we talk in this life? We should really think 100 times before we speak. This is the message. At the tip of the tongue, Lakshmihi vasati. Prosperity, wealth lies on the tip of tongue. So people can earn lot of wealth merely by speaking good. Jifagre mitra bandhavaha. You can have your friends, you can continue to have good relations with your relatives if you speak good. Jivagre bandhanam praptam. But if you speak something not really pleasant, not amicable, then bandhanam praptam, you can certainly be imprisoned. And jivagre maranam dhruvam. And we have many stories and episodes in the history which prove these points. It's a very simple verse. Jivvagra, jivvayaha, agram, jivvagram. Okay, one correction in the glossary, as I just mentioned, jivvayaha, agram. It should be agram, whereas it is written agra. That needs to be corrected. Otherwise, it's okay.
Okay. There are no questions right now.
Okay, next. Ayam nijah paro cheti ganana lagu chetasam udara charitanam tu vasudhaiva kutumbakam. Ayam nijaha paraha ch iti lagu chetasam ganana udara charitanam tu vasudhaiva kutumbakam. So he is my child, he is my neighbor's child. So this kind of calculation in the mind is a sign of mean-mindedness, lagu chetas. But those who are very broad-minded, udara charitanam, for them the whole earth is, or the globe is the family. So they never distinguish between their own children and the children of their neighbors. This is again a very well-known verse, particularly the last line, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, has been often quoted, cited. Nijaha means one's own, Paraha means another. So this, in Marathi we say Apa Parabhava. So one should not be calculative like this. Ganana is calculation, counting. I don't think there is anything to be explained by way of grammar here. Kutumba and Kutumbaka mean the same thing. Kutumba is a very general word we quite often use in the sense of family. Here again, metra causa, they have added k. Just as bala, balaka, we have kutumba, kutumbaka. No addition into the meaning. Any questions?
You can go to the next one.
Okay.
There were some comments like Praptam from Subhashit 61, perhaps something not very correct about the this font, but we can revisit that later on if time permits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, fonts are not under my control, so
Yeah. No, we'll
I'm so sorry.
address that issue separately.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
You can go ahead, please.
Okay. Apurvah kopi koshoyam vidyate tava bharati vyayato vruddhimayati vyayamayati sanchayat. O Bharati, O goddess of learning, ayam tava koshaha kopi apurvaha vidyate vyayataha vruddhim ayati sanchayat vyayam ayati. Bharati, goddess of learning, this great treasure of yours is really unique, apurva, something very unique, something very extraordinary is your treasure, about your treasure. And what is that? As we go on spending, it grows. And if we go on storing it, it diminishes. So Vidya, knowledge, is always meant for imparting, for dissemination. Don't keep any knowledge to yourself. Whatever you know, just go on spreading it. And as you go on spreading it, it will increase, even in your case. So this is a very good advice to a teacher. Earlier, there was a concept of Acharya Mushti. Acharya Mushti literally means a fist of a teacher. It was believed that the teachers, at least some teachers, they used to keep something secret to themselves. They did not impart all whatever they knew, because they wanted to, maintain their superiority over the student. So there were at least a few things which they did not teach the student. That was known as Acharya Mushti. This verse speaks against the practice of Acharya Mushti. One should not hide anything from the student. On the contrary, the more you give away, the more you earn. This is a very, very unique feature of knowledge, and therefore the verse is really very beautiful. Vyayataha vruddhim ayati. As you spend, it grows. This is what is stated in this verse. It is addressed to the goddess of learning, Bharati. Bharati is the name of the goddess of learning. Any reaction?
No. What is happening? Perhaps we go to the next one and then I get some feedback about the previous one. Not for all, but yeah. So we can go to Subhashita 64, which is in front of everybody.
Okay. Sukharthi chet tyajed vidyam, vidyarthi chet tyajed sukham, sukharthinah kuto vidya, kuto vidyarthinah sukham. Again a very popular verse, and this is a very good message to all the students. If you really want to be happy, then don't think of study at all. Just be happy. Sukharthi chet vidyam tyajet. Vidyarthi chet sukham tyajet. But if you really want to earn knowledge, then just neglect your happiness. Because sukharthinaha kuto vidya and vidyarthinaha kutas sukham. Very good message for all students. Don't enjoy your studenthood. In the past, that always had been the case with all the students who used to stay in Gurukula. The life in the Gurukula was a life of hardships. They had to go to the forest and collect dry wood. They had to help the wife of the Guru in all kinds of household activities and so on and so forth. And they have to sleep on bare, ground. Very, strict instructions are found in Smriti literature about the life of hardships, and that was deliberately, made a life of hardships for them. And it is exactly other way around these days. Everyone, our parents, they want to see that the child is as comfortable as possible. It is studying, or it provided. So, correct. We have to decide.
Okay, there was one question.
Yeah.
Bharati is same as Saraswati from the previous one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they are all synonyms.
Synonyms, okay. And there was a comment on this Subhashita, current Subhashita, Sukharthi chet tyajet vidyam.
Yes.
This is the case in rote Indian education system. In USA, students enjoy life as well as they become expert because the learning process is based on understanding and not on memory. Any comments?
I don't think it has something to do with rote learning alone. Even, in ancient India, rote learning was really given much emphasis, but that does not mean that they never used their capacity to understand. There used to be a lot of debate, and there used to be a lot of, chintanika, mutual discussion. If you very carefully study the practice of learning in Gurukulas, you will find that rote learning was just a part of it. But when the teacher was away, the students were actually required to discuss the topics among themselves. And one student used to explain what he has studied to the fellow student. He used to ask him questions, and if the student was able to answer, then it was regarded that he has properly understood. So rote learning was just a part, but actually the emphasis in this verse is on the life of hardships. One should not, just relax in the bed and try to remember. You have to sit straight. Even there were very strict rules even about postures, how to sit, where to sit, and so on and so forth. So it was a kind of a ritual. The whole process of learning was a kind of a ritual. It was not just because rote learning, but it was, a kind of a discipline. And it's not just, these days, it's not only in the US, but all over the world, I think, even in India, rote learning is not a part of education anymore. In our childhood, we had to learn by heart mathematics and verses and all that, but nowadays students are not required to do that with calculators and all such gadgets. It is not required, and this is also very natural. But I think there is another movement, parallel movement of even in US going on. I have heard that in some schools they have started again the practice of rote learning, memorizing, because the educationists, they have started feeling that man has started losing his capacity of remembering. So rote learning helps you retain your capacity of remembering. Memorization should be a part of education, according to some experts in education. Okay?
Okay, next one.
अतिदानात् बलिर्बद्धो यतिमानात् सुयोधनः विनष्टो रावणो लौल्याद् अति सर्वत्र वर्जयेत्. Ati sarvatra varjayet. Excess should always be avoided, and one should always try to take a middle path, they say. And there are 3 illustrations from mythology. You know the story of Bali, that demon who was killed by Vamana, in the 4th avatar of Vishnu, because he was crazy of dana, giving away. So Vamana asked for land to cover 3 feet. Ati danat. So Bali, in a great hurry and in a craze, gave away the land, and finally he was crushed down to Patala. So Bali was bound because of Atidana. Suyodhana is the same as Duryodhana, because he was excessively Ma is proud. Finally he lost the battle. And Ravana, Ati Laulyad Vinashtaha. Ravana had a craze. He was so much attached to Sita that finally he also had to meet destruction. And therefore one should always avoid excess. This is again a very well-known verse.
Here I have one question.
Yes.
Suyodhan is also sometimes referred to as Duryodhan. Are they not opposite to each other? Or?
His name in fact was Duryodhana.
Means
the name as it is, the name is Duryodhana, but it was Dharmaraja who used to call him Suyodhana, because Dharmaraja did not want to use this prefix Dur, which conveys some bad sense. Dur is an upasarga, Dur is an indeclinable which conveys something very bad. And Dharmaraja did not want to use the word, and therefore he changed it to Su. But it means, both ways it means the same. Duryodhanaha means Dukkhena Yudhyate, one who is very difficult to fight with. And Suyodhanaha means Sushtu Yudhyati, one who fights well.
Okay.
So in both ways the meaning is good. But somehow Dharmaraja did not like to even utter a bad word. That was a very peculiar characteristic of his personality, as you know, Yudhishthira.
Yeah.
And therefore he changed it to Suyodhana.
Okay, thank you.
It means the same. Okay?
Yeah. Next slide.
Yeah, please. वनानि दहतो वह्ने सखा भवति मारुतः स एव दीपनाशाय कृषे कस्यास्ति सहृदम्. Perhaps we have done this verse, you please check it, but maybe I can explain it once again. I'm not sure. Marutaha Vanani Dahataha Vannehe Sakha Bhavati Sa Eva Marutaha Deepanashaya Krushe Kasya Sahrudam Asti. So the same wind behaves in two different ways with two different persons. The wind is very friendly with the fire, which is very strong and which goes on burning forests. So with forest fire, wind is friendly. Whereas with a little lamp, it is a destroyer. So eva deepanashaya. Because deepa is Krusha, a feeble being. Krushe kasya sahrudam asti. No one is friendly with a feeble, weak person. And we have a similar subhashita. I think we have discussed it last time. Devo durbala ghatakaha. So once again emphasis on strength. Try to be very strong in this world. Even God will not help you. You will have no friends if you are not strong both physically and mentally. This is the message. Sahruda is derived from the word surhud. Surhud means friend. Sahruda, friendship.
Okay, there was one question like similar to this Duryodhan and Suyodhan. Did Dharmaraj call Dushasan as Sushasan also? Yes.
Well. I will have to check the whole of the Mahabharata to find it out. But about Suyodhana, the story is well known. But such an account is not known about Dushasana. Maybe Dharmaraja never had any occasion to address Dushasana. But if we can change it, it can certainly be interpreted the same way as we interpret Suyodhana and Duryodhana. Dukhena shasyate iti Dushasanaha and Sukhena shasti iti Sushasanaha. Well, certainly we can. This is the beauty of Sanskrit language. You can really interpret it the way you want.
Yeah.
So we can have it, but I will have to look into Mahabharata if such thing has happened. Sorry.
Okay. And there is one more comment like God of wind was friend of God of fire Agni.
Yes.
So does it
It's
relate?
not there is no reference to God here actually. Marutaha and Vandnehe, it is just winds, that's all.
Okay.
Wind and fire. We don't need to go to the deities in this case. And this is a very, very common natural phenomenon. I'm sure in US you have even experienced it whenever there is a forest fire. And there have been, I think, in the recent past, many forest fires catching up with forceful wind.
Yeah.
So you don't need to deify these objects.
Can go to next. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, next. Priyavakya pradanena sarve tushyanti jantavah tasmat tadeva vaktavyam vachaneka daridrata. Sarve jantavah priyavakya pradanena tushyanti tasmat tadeva vaktavyam vachaneka daridrata. Jantavaha, jantu here is used in the sense of being, a being. So all beings. Well, we have to understand by being a human being. So all human beings, they are very happy, satisfied if we speak pleasantly. Priya Vakya Pradana. So everyone should always speak amicably, speak good, speak pleasant. Why should one show poverty in speaking? If well, you have only to speak and you don't have to give anything. So speak pleasantly is the message. I guess we have also done this verse in the past, but we have to check. Any question? Okay. Shall we go to the next?
Yeah.
Sarpah krurah khalah krurah sarpat kruratarah khalah sarpashyamyati mantrena durjano naiva shamyati. So here is a comparison of a bad person with the serpent. You know, Durjana has always been a theme of Subhashitas. Sujana, Prashamsa and Durjana, Ninda. There are quite a few Subhashitas in praise of good people and equally same amount of Subhashitas which are in contempt of Durjanas. They hate Durjanas. So here, Sarpaha Kruraha, Khalaha api Kruraha. Both the elephant is, the serpent is also cruel, a bad person is also cruel, but a bad person is more cruel than a serpent. Sarpa Shamyati Mantrena. So there is at least a hope of the serpent being calmed down. This is not the case with a bad person. Durjanaha naiva shamyati. Never, never, ever. Very simple Subhashita. There is an example of comparative degree. Krurataraha, kruraha, krurataraha, kruratamaha. Cruel, more cruel, most cruel. So we have also 3 degrees as we have in English. Positive, comparative and superlative. Well, any questions?
None. Let's go to the next one.
Okay. Pradoshe deepakaschandrah prabhate deepako ravihi trailokye deepako dharmas suputrah kula deepakah. So there are several kinds of lamps, illuminators. As you know, in the night, pradoshe chandraha deepakaha bhavati. It is the moon in the sky which guides your way, which illuminates the way. Prabhate deepakaha ravihi. In the morning and the whole day, of course. Prabhata again has to be understood here in the sense of day. During the day, the sun is our guiding light. Trailokye deepakaha dharmaha. Dharma again should not be misunderstood as religion. Dharma in a very broad sense means good conduct, righteousness, good behavior is light in all the 3 worlds. Suputrah kula deepakaha. A good child is always regarded as a lamp for all the family. This is again a very traditional verse. Those who believe in the concepts of dharma and kula, they may appreciate the verse. Note the change of visarga into sh in deepakaha chandraha becomes deepakash chandraha. Yes, in the gloss, one correction, Trailokya ma. This ma should be deleted. It is just Trailokya, or It should be Trailokyam. It should be Halanta. Ma should not be complete here. Yeah, it's a lapse on the part of the person who has typed it. Well, otherwise it's okay. Any question?
No questions on this. There was a question like, how is Vanne derived from Vanni? Is it not Saptami or something?
Vanne is a genitive singular of Vanne. Genitive singular. Like Harehe, Hari. A word ending in E has its genitive singular like this. Vannehe, Harehe, Matehe in feminine.
So in fire, is it Saptami kind of thing or?
No. It's genitive. That means of fire.
Oh, of fire. Okay.
Yeah. Vannehe Sakha, friend of fire.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
We can go to the next one.
Sure. यथा ह्येकेन चक्रेण न रथस्य गतिर्भवेत् एवं पुरुषकारेण विना दैवं न सिद्ध्यति. So there are two things which make the life successful: Purushakara and Daiva. One should not rely on Daiva alone. Just as with one wheel a chariot cannot move, it needs two. Yathahi ekena chakrena rathasya gatihi na bhavet. Just as by one wheel there can be no moving on of a chariot, in the same manner, without purushakara, without showing one's own valor, action, mere fate will not accomplish anything. Daivam na siddhyati. So there are again a multitude of subhashitas which tell you that Daiva alone cannot help you. And this very famous verse from Bhagavad Gita I'm sure is known to all of you. Adhishthanam tatha karta karanam cha prithak vidham vividhasya prithak cheshtaha daivam chaivatra panchamam. So Daiva, fate, luck, fortune comes only at the end. All other things you have to concentrate before you undertake a mission, a task. Any question?
No question on this.
It's a very simple and straightforward verse.
Yeah.
Patre tyagi gune ragi sandhi bhagi cha bandhushu shastre bodharane yodha purushah panchalakshanaha. 5 characteristics of a person. Purushaha panchalakshanaha. And the rest of the verse gives the 5 characteristics. Patre tyagi. A purusha is tyagin, gives away. But he doesn't give away to anyone who just comes to him and begs. Patra is a very specific concept of a person to whom one should give. Appropriate person. He should be needy. He should also have a good character. Patre tyagi. Gune ragi. This is another characteristic. Raga is attachment, love, affection. So a person should have affection, attachment for gunas, virtues. He should always be a virtue lover. Sandhi bhagi cha bandhusho. He should always distribute, share with his relatives. He should share or he should give respective shares to respective relatives. So he should not be greedy and take away all the wealth whatever is inherited. Shastre Buddha. He should always be a very learned man in all shastras. He should try to acquire as much knowledge as possible. And Rane Yodha at the same time. He is a great warrior in the battlefield. These are the 5 characteristics of a good person. Of course, very rare to find in one and the same person. But this is an ideal description of an ideal person. An attempt on the part of the poet to make it kind of an alliteration. Patre tyagi gune ragi sandibhagi cha bandhusho. Gi, repeated. And in the next line, Shastre Buddha Rane Yodha Purushah Panchalakshana. So they also try to bring in some beauty in the composition. Alankara, they call it Alankara. So we have Anuprasa here by repeating the same sound. Yes, any question?
No questions on this.
Okay. Next one. If there is time. Pathato nasti murkhatvam, japato nasti patakam, mauninah kalaho nasti, nabhayan chasti jagratah. So 4 things are negated. Murkhatva, pataka, kalaha and bhaya. They do not exist. Murkhatva does not exist if one goes on and on studying. Patataha murkhatvam nasti. You just go on reading, studying, contemplating, and then you will never be murkha in this life, foolish, and nobody can fool you. Japataha nasti patakam. Go on doing recitation, reciting prayers to gods. Japa is a particular kind of recitation. It's a religious recitation. Japataha patakam nasti. One who believes in all these kinds of rituals, for him this line makes sense. There is no sin for the one who continues to japa in his life, to recite in his life. Mauninaha kalaho nasti. Well, it is our day-to-day experience. If there is a verbal fight going on, and if you just keep quiet, well, there is no fight anymore. Na bhayam cha asti jagrata. You have to keep yourself awake always. And then there is no fear at all. Na bhayam asti jagrataha. One who is awake, for him there is no fear in this life. Do everything with all caution. This is the message.
Okay, we have no question on this so far, and it is 9:29 our time. So,
Okay.
Do you want to continue for a couple of them because we started a bit late? Is that okay?
Yeah, for me, no problem.
Arvind, then you can show the next slide. Okay, go ahead, please.
पूर्वे वयसि तत्कुर्याद् येन वृद्धः सुखी भवेत् यावज्जीवेत तत्कुर्याद् येन प्रेत्य सुखं वसेत्. So one has to prepare for his future. पूर्वे वयसि तत्कुर्याद् येन वृद्धः सुखी भवेत्. One should always do that in his earlier life, which will make him happy in his old age. Yena vruddhaha sukhi bhavet. So always think of that. What I should do in my previous life, what I should have done in my previous life, is that which would have made me happier in my old age. Yavat jivet tat kuryat. And the whole life one should do that. One should perform that, by which he will have a life of happiness after death. Pretya, after leaving this world, another life begins, and that life of happiness one should be able to enjoy, and he can enjoy it if he makes preparations for that throughout his life in this world. So our ancestors were always, very careful about both the lives in this world as well as the life after death in the other world. One should lead a meritorious way of life. This is the message. So it's not only old age, but also after death one should think of. This is something I think which does not suit in the Western philosophy.
Oh,
Yeah. Please.
no, I was thinking whether Purve Vayasi Tatkuryat, by that he means that we should plan for our retirement kind of thing in the same life rather than...
In a way, yes. Purve Vayasi Tat Kuryat Yena Vruthas. Certainly we should plan for our retirement. Yeah.
Okay, then
Purva Vayas is the earlier part of life.
so it can be taken as from this current lifespan also, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Then there was one
And,
question. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, please.
No, the T in GH, should it be half? Oh. GH, whether it should be half T.
No. This is correct. Yavat Jiveta is correct. In fact, half is incorrect. And quite often, when they write Jivet Sharada Shatam, they make it half, which is not correct, because Jiva is a root which is conjugated in Atmane Pada. There are two padas, two voices, Parasmai Pada and Atmane Pada. If it is Parasmai Pada, then it will be Jivet. If it is Atmane Pada, it will be Jiveta. And Jiveta is correct.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That was the question.
This reminds me of another verse. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Was there any question?
No. I was saying thank you for this.
Okay. So just give me that a small piece of information which you may already have, and that is Charvaka is a very well-known philosopher who believes in this life, not in the life after death, and therefore he says, and this is a very well-known verse, Yavat Jivam Sukham Jivet Runam Krutva Ghrutam Pibet Bhasmi Bhutasya Dehasya Punaragamanam Kutaha. So he said, don't worry about the life after death. There is no, in fact, life after death. So even, borrow money, go on accumulating debt, but eat, be happy, be merry in this life. Once your body is cremated, there is no coming back. This is what Charvaka says.
Okay.
This is exactly opposite to what is said here.
Okay. So Charvaka was not philosopher, or he was...
Yes, he was. In fact, this is a very, again, special feature of Indian philosophy, and all our philosophers of the past, they have given Charvaka a due place. They regard Charvaka's philosophy as one way of philosophizing, one way of life.
Like anti-establishment or something?
Yes. Hedonism. Philosophy of hedonism.
Okay.
Sukhavada,
Hmm.
which is, I think, the philosophy of United States, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, Arvind Deglurkar, the time is up, I guess. Do you think we should stop now?
Yeah, I think we should stop. We should start up with Subhashit 74 in the next session.
Okay.
Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Dr. Bhate.
Thank
See
you.
you all next week. Thank you.
Okay.